What's up, y'all? What's up? What's up with you? How's my family doing? Hey, fam, come on in. No, I am not starting late. Y'all the CitySeries people, y'all know I never start late. How you guys doing? Everybody's doing okay? Hey! What's up, guys? What's up? I am trying to get things adjusted. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes right now. So yeah, y'all know how that goes. Hey guys, hello. Hey fam. See, this is why, y'all. This is why this is just us, right? Okay, before we start letting all these other people in here, it's just us. And I miss y'all. I miss y'all a lot. So what's up with you guys? Obviously, I can't catch up right now because we got a show to do. But hey. So, real quick intro. So, we are living in the age of Zoom. Everything's in Zoom. Memphis. We're like, we see DJs on Instagram Live. Let's try to do something else on Instagram Live. Hey, Jan. Hey, Whoopi. So, we decided to, y'all know that we did the quarantine CitySeries back in May. Huge success, right? On Zoom. Fantastic. Like, I'm biased, but it was the party of the year for me. Anyway, we want to do it again. We'll be talking about that and making that announcement later. But in the meantime, we still wanted to try to make use of Instagram Live, because Instagram Live is a great platform, and we would like to see a little bit more smaller events like this, little intimate kind of thing. So that's what brings us here. So we just did one with Darren and Jaquan behind the bars, and now here we are at Ladies Night. So this idea came up maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago. So somehow we all got it together. So your lineup tonight is Porsha, aka Hype Queen, and she is out of Brooklyn, lives in New York. We also have Jillian Griffin, and she is out of Philly. We have Vanessa, who also goes by Poetic Justness, and she's in the DMV. For those who don't know what DMV is, it's DC, Maryland, Virginia area. Okay. What else? Me. I'm gonna grab the mic. From the Bronx, living in Memphis, and my girl La Jones, and hopefully all of you know who that is. Yes. So yeah, here we go. That's your 5 poets tonight. We will each do one poem. Can we do a second one maybe? It just depends. So we're going to see how this flows. We're going to see how the night goes. You know, Instagram's hateful. What's up, JQ? Instagram is hateful. They only give you an hour. And so we're going to make use of that hour. And if we have to come back, where else are we going to go? You have a drink? You can't go nowhere. There's Corona outside. Okay. So I'm going to tag in my first poet. Come on in, Porsha. Hey! Oh,
what's
snap,
up? What's up?
Like
really?
Yours is much doper.
I'm dead. Not even.
I love it. I started to wear that shirt tonight.
Really?
My friend's shirt. I was like, no.
Gang. You should have did it.
I could have. We would have been twinning.
We would have been twinning.
Something like that. How you doing tonight, boo?
I'm doing good. I just got to work. Well, I'm ready. We out here. Hype Queen in the building tonight. Yes.
I'm here for it. Yes. All right. So obviously, you just became what we call a CitySeries vet because you joined us for the quarantine. So that was your ticket in. This is by no means a clique. This is just a community of people that understand what it is that we do.
For sure.
And I'm really happy you're a part of it. And you fit right in. Like ever since May, I feel like that's my girl.
Right, like I'm seeing you everywhere on Zoom.
Yeah,
First of
yeah.
all,
We keep running into each other at Zoom
right.
parties.
I'm like,
And
ma'am, I see you. I see you.
like,
First of
were
all,
you just at the Zoom party I was
right.
in?
I was like, I seen your picture though, sis. Where you going?
And then we sitting up there talking about the party in WhatsApp.
And the right, exactly.
I'm
Exactly.
telling you, you just fit right in with the family. So
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you being here. I know some of your followers are going to be joining in and everything.
Yes,
So,
yes, yes. I see some people. Thank y'all
yeah.
for attending. I do want to
Yes,
shout.
ma'am.
I want to shout Erica Lombard out for the
Yes.
connection. First of all,
Erica definitely,
that's the girl right
put me
there,
on.
sis.
She did. She definitely did. She put me on and she was like, you know, she could do some poetry or whatever. I'm like, all right, that's cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm
Yes,
really happy
nice.
that she did that. Let me just make sure all my girls are here.
Yeah.
Hold on. Well, no, I can't do that too. Okay. All right. So how should I introduce you? All the way out of Brooklyn,
Right.
spoken word artist.
Spoken word artist. No. Nah.
All right.
Well, I can introduce myself.
Well, no, I'm not
Yes.
going to let you introduce yourself. No, that's my job.
Yes,
So,
yes, yes. Well, I mean like background history, not necessarily like
no.
name.
Go ahead, give me a little background, yes, so
Yes,
that the
yes,
people
yes.
know, because a lot of people in our CitySeries community don't know who you are because we just met this year.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us a little bit about you and about how you got started doing poetry and all that stuff.
Right. So, like, my first poem that I wrote, I was 11. I thought I was in love. Yeah, that's what got me. They jugged me. But I went to a performing arts junior high school in Brooklyn, and one of my English teachers gave me an assignment for poetry. I just did it so I can get my A. But she saw something in that, and so that school that year was throwing their first poetry slam. So she pressured me into doing it, and she got me like a mentor in the school. And I mean, I practiced. And my first poetry slam, I won third place. But that was the first hit of high that I could possibly get. And after that, that was all she wrote. I never stopped poetry after that. I've done poetry shows. I published my own chapbook. I throw my own shows called Poetic Essence for all of my witness friends, and I've been doing that since 2011. So. And they were based out of Georgia. So, but I'm back in New York.
So now, since you've been doing this out of 2011, how long you known Erica? Because she know what I'm about to say. How long you known her?
See, what had happened was right now. I've known Erica at least. I'm gonna say
you could have been coming to these shows all these years. We were doing CitySeries until 2014.
No, I met Erica after 2014.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Then I ain't gonna get on.
I'm gonna say maybe 2016, 2017. That's when I met Erica.
Okay. She gets a pass.
She get a pass.
She is my cousin. You know that, right?
Oh.
Something down the road. We don't know where the connection is, but her and my husband have some kind of family relation.
Oh, okay. Cool.
We probably need to have another drink to even explain the connection.
I'm done. For sure.
All right. So, are you going to give us the title of your poem, or are you just going to go right into it?
Yeah. So the title of my poem is entitled "I Don't Like Makeup." So this is for my natural girls.
Right.
It is what it is. But we out here. Okay. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? I need to see all the emojis in the comments. Don't even act like y'all don't know who I am. My people. I don't know some of y'all, but the people who know me, y'all know I need interactions. I get a kick out of it. So I don't like makeup. You ever took the time to ask a girl why she doesn't conform to today's it girl? I'm talking not only in the shape of her body, but the dreadful way in which she draws. See, I'm a woman who doesn't mind having nice things, but if it takes me being an artist in a way that I have no knowledge of being, well then shoot, I don't want it. But best believe I'll flaunt this melanated, coffee with cream skin. I'm only happy with who I am, but only because I don't like makeup. See, I sometimes think it's something wrong with me. Like, why don't I like to play with colors, or why am I not like the other girls? Why can't I buy some Fenty? Or why don't I like to do some things that's trendy? But see, when I look into your eyes. When I appear to a major event with a bare face, I yearn for you to ask me that why is my smile the only thing that makes my face glow rather than the highlights on my cheeks? I wonder if you ever think that for once, that if I ever put makeup on, that I will cry it off my face. So there's no need for me to take hours to apply it in the first place. See, I tend to catch arthritis when I pick up a brush. I can't even get it to touch my brow line. Can't even get an eyeliner pencil to in my hands correctly. I can't even get a foundation brush in my hands to help me blend out the messy. See, I can't tell you how many times that I sit next to a girl that I know gets more attention than me. Not because she is better, but because she could paint a better picture for you. See, I am the truth. See, I bear arms thicker than your average girl, but I come with love as fat as my gut, so I strut my stuff to the beats that I hear in my head, and I speak words quicker than a blink of an eye that you ever could come up with. See, don't attempt to look down on me because I can't blend like the other girls. See, I was natural before you even knew that it could heal. Nonetheless, I don't come here just to say that I personally just don't like makeup, but more so to voice my opinion that maybe you just not on my level to see me. That's that piece. I'm
So
dead.
first of all,
I'm dead.
I know that we can't spend too much time on Q&A, but I have to say that poem, yo, I felt that on a spiritual
level. On a spiritual level, I'm weak.
I mean, there were so many things. The smile showing more of a glow than the highlighter on your skin.
Right.
You know, what's interesting is that I was just putting on makeup tonight.
No, see, I meant to say that as a disclaimer. Listen, you know, I don't hate on all you people who do the makeup. Y'all kill the game.
I don't understand stuff. Like, I don't have highlighter. I'm sitting here like, do I have concealer? Do I even know what that stuff is? So, I mean, I really relate to that. You were natural before you knew it could heal. Like that was deep. That was really, really deep.
I appreciate that.
How long ago did you write that piece? Was it based on like feelings, experiences that you were dealing with at the time, or like what inspired them?
Yeah, so I wrote that poem in April this year.
Okay.
And honestly, I'm not a makeup person. Like, I really do hate it. I touch my face a lot. And I don't really know how to apply it. Now, that could be a reason, too, why I don't like makeup, because I'm not a real, applier. So, now I can practice. You know, I know I got a ton of friends that's like, Porsha, you just need to practice. Get it together. But I'm like, listen, I'm popping without that makeup, okay? Don't get it twisted. Yeah. But I think it's very pretty. I think when girls do it to really enhance their look, it is gorgeous on them. And like, it literally does take me hours. Like, I literally have like at least one good time that I did my own face, and it was like, oh wow, like people were like, Porsha, you did good. I'm like, man, forget y'all.
Would you say that most of your poetry starts from a very honest place about yourself before you start writing about other people? Like, when you start to write, are you thinking, how do I feel? You know, let me go ahead and start writing first about how I feel, or does it just depend?
So I am a very avid, like, creative writer. Like, I tap in it on a different level. So a lot of it is my own personal stories, but I have a ton of friends. I get a lot of people personals, and their names are never mentioned, but the story may be there. And I take a lot of inspiration from that. You know, a lot of us go through a lot of stuff, and we may not have, or we may not tell as many people, and you know, our support system may be a little smaller. But I write different pieces to, of course, relate to other people. So some of it is personal, some of it is just somebody else's story.
That is a very relatable piece for us non-makeup wearers. That and not only that, but just the fact that, you know, like you said, it's not about you look down on other people that do it, but you have to also realize and recognize that your beauty is from a whole different source.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
For sure. Mm-hmm.
It's not the outward. So I love it. It's perfect for ladies' night. So I appreciate you blessing us
Yes,
first,
ma'am.
being that sacrificial lamb. Like I said, I had to do it.
It's all good. It's all good. I'm officially initiated.
You know what? It's funny. I've actually done that for a few different shows that we've had. So
nah, ain't no big deal. Ain't no big deal. I was ready.
No, it's not, because you started off with such blame that I'm like, maybe I just shouldn't go.
Girl, stop.
Anyway,
thank you so much. Of course.
Stick around, because
of course.
we already almost a half hour in, so
it's all good. I'm here. I'm gonna be here.
All right, cool.
I ain't going nowhere. All right.
Thank you.
No problem.
All right. That was Brooklyn Poet, aka Porsha, aka Hype Queen. That's how you start off ladies' night. You just go in. That's how you do it. I'm so sorry. It is Jill. I don't even know my own lineup. God dang. All right. Sorry about that, y'all. Okay. So this young lady, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know my own lineup.
No problem. Listen,
I'm sorry.
I heard that intro and I'm like, oh, she feels the way about
It's been a long day. Wait. Let me do this intro right. Okay. Let me do this intro right. This young lady hails from Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. She might look familiar because she's got a brother that hosts a lot of CitySeries events named Darren, and she shares the same last name with him. I love Miss Jillian. She is an amazing poet. She has been a CitySeries vet for as long as I could remember. She has always supported the fam, and I'm so blessed to have her on our show tonight. So I'm so sorry that I didn't give you your proper introduction.
No problem at
but
all.
You here, and that's all that matters.
That's right. We here.
And you look beautiful.
Thank
Very
you.
beautiful.
Thanks.
But you look gorgeous on our little test thing when you was head wrapped. So, I mean, you know, I don't have a good reference to compare. So,
thank you. A little more than head wraps and eyebrows. I actually put
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. We got a whole face tonight. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, girl, listen, we here, and I really did not expect there to even be a mention of the word CitySeries in 2020, and alas, here it is. But you have already performed in our quarantine event that we had on Zoom, which was dope. You were one of the crowd favorites, as a matter of fact. Yeah. Now, if anybody here is not familiar with our YouTube channel, when you get off of this live, go to the CSW family Instagram and click on the link in the bio. There is a YouTube channel, and you can find Jillian's piece there from the Quarantine CitySeries. Now, I'm hearing that your volume is low.
I have the volume up on my phone.
You do? Do you have a headset, earpiece that you could put in?
I got some AirPods.
Okay, let's see if that works a little bit better. We want to hear you.
That's right.
Because, you know, I'm loud, so they're going to hear me. I can't help it.
All right, how about now, guys?
Okay, can I get some thumbs up if you guys can hear Jillian better?
I'll just keep talking.
Say something, Jill.
I'll just keep talking so that y'all can give your feedback if you can hear me and whatnot. How I'm sounding.
Is everybody hearing better?
I don't see any thumbs up, though.
You sound fine. Okay, we got a few people saying you sound good.
Okay.
You sound good. Okay, we got
I see.
Kenny saying good. Porsha. Cool. All right. Everybody's saying it's good. All right. I think we got some Philly fam in here. Represent. Hey, I love it. I love it. So I had to get you on the first ladies' night. By the way, there will be a part 2. Said 5. 2. So mark your calendars, guys. We have 5 more lady poets coming on August the 14th. All right. So I had to get you on the first one. You are a vet. You are an amazing poet. You have such a unique perspective on so many things, and I think a lot of women can relate to your work. So are you going to tell us what the name of the poem is before you get into it, or any background, or are you just going to go into it?
Nope, I can. Well, thank you first. This
Mm-hmm.
piece is called 55.
Okay.
There is a reason behind the name, but I would rather wait to talk about the reason.
Okay.
Little trailer
I wish
there.
you had a long mustache. What
Yes.
where do you weave?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So go in and let's hear it.
Okay.
55.
55.
Mm-hmm.
If I may put your mind at ease, when I say let's chill, don't automatically think I'm asking to settle down. Don't get me wrong, my guy. In my approach to the diamond, I'm taking my position on the mound, hoping you've oiled up your glove to catch these feelings, cuz they're coming in hot. But I want to avoid another swing and a miss. So against all intuition, I'm calling for a change up. Let's chill. For a while, let's stay in that place that's past the newness but pleasantly unfamiliar. Play in that space of sincerity where facial expressions still need to be explained. And we experience those happy little surprises because we don't know each other well enough to know what we'll say next. Yet, our words are freely released in the open air, clear and scented with exhalations of vulnerabilities, where admirations flow breezily and parlay into sensations of butterflies tiptoeing between goosebumps. Whew, you feel that? I'm saying let's chill so we can learn the nuances that make us us. Take time to discuss nicknames and report cards, hobbies and first cars. Share what family vacations were like. I want to discern your nervous blink and tired voice. See that crinkle in your nose when you really laugh. Let me watch you watch me talk at length about my favorite movie. Tell me about the last book you read. And Hamilton, sir, if we can talk nonstop about what would be enough, more than history will have its eyes on you. Meet me inside and we'll figure out what comes next. Psych, I'm trying to stay alive. If you want to get satisfied, you're going to have to wait for it. But in the meantime, we can talk gaps and lost retainers, comic books and video games. Tell me about that time you got into that thing with that person. You know what I'm talking about. And what about children? Do you have siblings? Where do you fall in line? Do you suffer from your own middle child syndrome, or do you just recognize mine? See, if that starts to get too heavy, let's reminisce about Jem or when Optimus Prime died. In this climate, we don't have to be afraid to talk to each other around family or friends. All they'll hear is the intense discussion on the power of the Care Bear stare, or how seriously you take Monopoly. What's your skill level in spades? Because I don't talk trash, but I'd like to know if we should just play Go Fish instead. But if you're game, what was the soundtrack to your last heartbreak? Keep in mind how you talk about your ex is key. Will your words drip with forgiveness and humility or bitterness and hostility? If you're still holding on to the hurt, you're not ready for me. Just saying. I'd like to truly ease on down the road to the land of us. And on your way, we can talk about our favorite Michael, whether it's Jordan, Jackson, Blackson, the first son, that ride or die one, or better said, the one that died and will soon ride on his white horse to save those who side with him. You pick. I'm all ears. And that right there, the way you bite your lip when I speak about spiritual things. Did you know you did that? Call it paybacks for drawing attention to my love-hate relationship with their space when I thought I hid that. I was just trying to tell you about my favorite teacher and what led to writing. Yes, let's take a beat to consider our musical investments. How diverse is your portfolio of new releases and the classics? Are you more perfect verse over tight beat, or is your soul stirred by instrumentation? Either way, I'm here for infinite what if convos and interchange of energies. And more importantly, let's disagree. Trust me with your opinions, especially when they don't match mine. Show me that you understand we can learn more about each other during a real debate than from shielding core beliefs in the name of being polite. So if you feel Kelly Kapowski would have been better with Slater, I might look at you sideways. But don't back down from making your case. It may sound like I'm only stating shallow things, but it's because I'm asking if we can develop the habit to explore, nurture that undying desire to know more, enjoy the sunset while on the safety of the shore where your dreams play with my goals like children building sandcastles. We don't need to rush into the sea. We'll disturb those still waters soon enough. Like when I ask when you realized you were first drawn to Jehovah and how it has changed your time over time. Or when my triggers are disclosed, you should know how far to be when I'm no longer a sure shot. Please understand, I don't want to needlessly prolong things and give temptation another couple of snacks to devour. But I fear getting swept up in a false sense of familiarity and to face a future with a shaky foundation as the soils of this system changes. But don't worry. In between shared secrets and daydreams, I promise I can and will communicate how your gaze and the sound of your voice sparks a chain reaction, electrochemical signals traveling like line dominoes, where brain tells toe to curl and nerves stand on end at thoughts of your right hand's embrace, my stag among mountains of spices. I've just learned to better discipline my heart. So I find myself telling that chick in the mirror not to try to arouse or awaken love's inclination. My snooze button slap game is on point. Don't make me hit you more than once. Please. My dear, along with this race of life, this is the ultimate marathon. We've got forever to run. I'm asking if we can pace ourselves. Yes, that was another sports reference. Did I tell you I used to play football? Anyway, if you're still with me, here's my audible. Let's chill and strengthen our friendship to a point where it becomes only natural to talk about settling down. That's what I want to do.
I need a drink. That was amazing. That was amazing. It is like the comments are going crazy. Okay. First of all,
yes,
you had me at Hamilton. That's first of all. Okay. I don't know how many of the songs you got in there, but I'm gonna have to look at the recap just so I can memorize that one section where you put in all those song references. I mean, I heard "Wait for It." I heard "Sir" from Aaron Burr, "Sir." I heard "Satisfied." I cannot.
I'm trying to stay alive.
Controlling between butterflies and goosebumps. That is such a dope line. The fact that you went back to your generation and you pulled in like, you know, Saved by the Bell and all these different shows and stuff that, you know, you grew up on. It's like, the one thing I love about your poetry is that you go in, right? But you also have this kind of like conversational quality. First of all, before we even go into that, what is the meaning of 55? Do you want to let us know?
Sure. So what I listed was 55 different conversation topics.
Okay.
Yep. So the point was that, you know, we're talking about dating, we're talking about getting to know someone. And since for us it's a serious thing, you don't quite realize in 55 days if it's someone, you know, that you want to build with. But in 55 weeks, now that's a little over a year, you might you might be feeling some things like you want to move on to the next level. So it just fit in the whole thing. Like, let's take time. Let's take time to get to know each other and get to that point where we can really have that next conversation.
Okay. So the one thing I do, I mean, obviously a lot of us here are, you know, really relating to that kind of thing, because little do y'all know, but that was one of the things that when I was dating, I actually did that. I actually wrote down a list of questions for Rudy, and it was so random. Like, I was like, do you wear slippers in the house? You know, like, what's your favorite? Like, I mean, it was one of those things where it was like, get to know me on a whole other level. Let me get to know you. Yeah. And one of the things I love that you said is the crinkle in your nose, because I actually have a friend that I think she's on here, and I did her engagement photos, and she had that crinkle in her nose. And it's like, those are certain things you notice when a person is in love with another person, like those things don't escape you. Right. You don't realize that the person that loves every bit of you is noticing everything. Yeah. And if y'all are not asking those questions, y'all better ask them questions.
Ask them questions.
Ask them questions. Ask them questions. But anyway, what I was saying before about your poetry, I noticed that you have a real conversational quality. Like you go in, but then like you say, you know, like you're talking about the sports references, and you said, oh, by the way, did I tell you, you know, do you do that in a lot of your poetry? Like what is your thought process behind like throwing in one of those like conversational moments? Like, let me just talk like a regular person. Let me step away from the poem and let me just talk like Jill. What is your concept behind that?
You know, I wish that there was something deeper behind it, but I truly have a scatterbrain. So sometimes as I'm writing, as I'm writing, I might have a last minute thought that's like, oh, I want to put that in there. And so when I'm talking, I write the way I talk. So it really does just come out and it gets expressed that way. Have a longer conversation with me and you will see. It's random.
Yeah. I mean, it almost, and you did that with that other piece that you did for quarantine about It's a Different World. Y'all, if y'all have not checked that out, go to the YouTube channel. The link is in our bio. You will see It's a Different World. I loved that piece. Like, I really loved it because it was literally like you were talking to someone, but it was just completely, you know, poetic. And it's just interesting the way you could just combine those conversations and those ideas into these verses, you know. So
thank you.
I'm a fan. I've always been a fan of yours. And I remember you going in at the New York City series at the New Year weekend. And I remember you pulling out this book. It was a big old book. This thing was huge. And I was like, oh, she got a book.
Well,
and she did. So you have the same book?
Huh?
I don't. Do you still have the same book, or is it a new book?
It's a gift. I still have it.
Yeah.
I still use it. Yes, I do.
What? That was like 9 years ago.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, that's what's up. But you know what? Those are the real old, faithful, reliable books. Like they have all your words. Yeah, you got to hold on to those. You know. And guess what? I don't know where not one of mine is.
Uh-oh. Come on, Ash. Come on.
I know. I got to do better. It's all right. Pray for me, though.
Got you.
All right. So I appreciate you. I'm sorry I messed up the lineup, but
no.
There was no way I was going to skip over you, girl. I just got messed up with the lineup. So, Griffin, look at this. Look, you see your brother trying to start trouble in these comments, right?
I'm trying to read. See. Don't it?
Just ignore him. This is about the ladies tonight. Yes. He can just go on somewhere.
Thank you so much. I love it.
Okay. All right. So I appreciate you. Hang out because we're gonna, we obviously only got about 15 minutes left to this thing before Instagram gets hateful. Yeah. So we're probably gonna end up coming back. But I just wanted to talk to you a real quick minute.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
All right, Jill. I appreciate you.
Guys. I'll see y'all when we come back.
Yeah.
All right.
Hang out. She said, I don't want the smoke. All right, Darren.
Crazy.
Oh, Lord. All right. So I think now we're ready for a little poeticness. And I'm sorry. I wasn't ready. I wasn't organized, so I apologize. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Can I run back the intro that I did for you before?
Go for it.
All right. So this beautiful woman here who hails from the DMV area, she is a true CitySeries vet. She has graced our poetic stage multiple times, except for this last time, but we're not going to get into that. To know
I regret it as me.
In the middle of my introduction. Let me To know her is to love her. If you have ever been around her, her personality is infectious and she is amazing. Yeah. All right, I think that's everything I say. Give it up for Vanessa! Woo! I know.
I know.
But as I was asking, so that wasn't your first time doing spoken word?
No.
Okay.
No, I started when I lived in Florida.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I just found that out. I was today years old when I knew that you lived in Florida. I didn't
For one whole year when I was like 24.
Okay. So you did a little spoken word then, and then you came here to DC. Now, you didn't know nothing about CitySeries, so, you did the poem. What made you latch on?
When you say latch on, you mean what made me do a poem like that? Or what?
No, I mean, what made you continue and keep going with CitySeries and keep doing poems? What was it was it the inspiration behind it? Like, what was it that made you say, this was my first time, I'm sticking with these folks? What was it?
It's funny, when I got told about CitySeries in DC, I was like, they said, oh, it's a whole weekend of events. We're going bowling on Friday, we're doing this on Saturday. And I was like, nah, I don't need all that. I could go bowling anytime. I'm just gonna do the poetry show. And then I did the poetry show, and I was like, why didn't I hang out with these people all weekend? What is wrong with me?
Unagi. Okay.
It was just nice because when I first got introduced to spoken word, it wasn't, it was in Florida, and it was just at a poetry club. So it was hit or miss, what was clean, what was not. It was nice to just be around a bunch of, JWs where you could just let your hair down and be yourself. And it was upbuilding, it was encouraging, and it was fun. It was right up my alley. And then there was this woman named Esme that I met that I just kind of fell in love with right away. Us light skins got to stick together,
Okay. I'm not even going to contest that one. All right, so listen, Instagram is hateful, okay? Now, I don't want this live to cut off in the middle of your piece. So are we good with it in the 5-minute range, or you think we're okay in that range, or what? It's probably going to cut off in about 7 minutes.
I didn't time my phone. I have no idea.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and go in. Do you want to go ahead and tell us what the name of the poem is, or any background on it real quick?
It's called The Poem I Didn't Want to Write.
That's right, it sure is. You should have called it The Poem That Esme Made Me Do. All right. Okay, enough games. We don't have that much time. I want to go ahead and let you go into it, and then we're going to come back.
Okay. So
I'm going to come back and add you in case I don't get a chance to ask my Q&A.
Okay. I just got to put it out there. I'm really nervous right now. I just finished this poem 30 minutes ago. I have never done this before.
No pressure.
30 minutes ago. I got it, though.
All right.
Let me just start by saying I didn't want to write this poem. I didn't want to put it in the atmosphere for everyone to hear, even though I know some people who need to hear it. Because lately I'm just tired and honestly uninspired, so I didn't want to write this poem. But it was in my spirit. And don't call me Jeremiah, but I felt as if it was a burning fire that was shut up in my bones, and I was tired of holding it in. So if this wasn't the poem that I didn't want to write, it would be called Poetry and Pandemic. And I would tell you in detail about how this poem is about a whole systemic failure on a global scale, and how democracy, bureaucracy, and all other forms of this world's governing hypocrisy are destined to fail. But this was the poem that I didn't want to write. So instead, I'm choosing to release the fire in a different capacity. You see, this is one of those poems that just wrote itself. And despite all of that, I am determined not to use the Q word because, well, we've all heard enough about that. In fact, this world of social distancing has caused social phobias to become social policies and our social psychologies to the point where our social sciences have become socially inept. Look, this pandemic has forced those who are extroverted to pretend like they're introverted. White collar workers to be diverted to being their own nannies and teachers, spouses who are typically working 60 hours as industry overachievers are stuck together 24 hours facing their mate's imperfect features. You know, it's amazing what gets missed when you're missing the opportunity to miss each other. This situation is a real struggle. People with roommates are wishing they lived alone. People living alone are wishing they were married. People who are married are wishing they were still seeing their mate through those rose-colored glasses that slowly faded away. Oh, what you thought I was about to say? We are all at home, literally left to our own devices. So we have to be decisive during this crisis so we don't let the devil win. You know, what I keep coming back to is how Noah and his family learned to adapt to living in a cramped up ark as they had to with all those funky animals for over a year. Or how the people of Judah made it 3 years under siege from Sennacherib and his renegade if we can't even make it 6 months. Rahab had to use her home base as a shelter in place for her whole family to be saved. Going outside would literally cost them their lives. You see, we are not the first to struggle through this. Until you are told to hold it in the sky for 10 hours, don't let this beast fool you. Because if you let the culture of no contact deliveries lead to no contacts in your phone, you can be sure that Satan will see it as the perfect time for him to contact you. So instead, view this as preparation for that coming tribulation. Challenge yourself to come out of this with more faith than you had before. Remind yourself that obedience equals salvation. Teach yourself how to rely on Jehovah. View this not as a miserable circumstance, but a valuable chance to refine your Christian qualities. You know, I could go on, but I'll leave it there. I feel like I've already laid my soul bare, and honestly, it's easier said than done, so I'm in the struggle just as much as anyone. Now I gotta go figure out where I fit in, because even though I didn't want to write this poem, I realized that this was a poem that wanted to be written.
I hear him in the background. He's like, yeah. Wait, did he say that's my baby? Did he say that?
I don't know what he was there saying. I didn't let him hear it, the whole thing.
I mean, how did you just finish writing that?
So, you know, that's the funny part. Like, a lot of the times when I write, there's an idea swirling around in my head that I just have to get out. So, like, I've had this idea since the beginning of the pandemic. Thankfully, you asked me to be in this, which forced me to actually put it down on paper. I can't tell you how many ideas I lost because I never actually sat down to just get it out.
It forced you to put it back in paper. It forced you to come back to Instagram.
That too. Only for you.
Followers are like, I ain't seen her in a minute. Oh, there's all of a sudden, there she is.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, we just got done hearing the poem I wasn't meant to write. Did I get the title right?
Poem I didn't want to write. I didn't want to write a poem about quarantine, about pandemic. I'm tired of hearing about it.
So what you should know is that when we were planning the Quarantine City series in May, we put together, you remember that night, I think, that we all got together on Zoom and we were talking about the concept and we were talking about what we wanted to do and what we didn't want to do. And one of the things that was mentioned was not to make it all about the quarantine, like not to, tell the poets not to just focus on, quarantine poems and being on lockdown and the virus and all this other stuff. And, we had a good lineup and we really did. I think mine was one of the only poems that actually had anything to do with what we were going through at the time. So, you had to get some things off your chest, obviously. Okay. So tell me about how this happened, because I want to know if it happened before I asked you.
No,
did it start somewhere is what I'm saying. Like, did you have some ideas about writing it, but you just didn't get serious about it till I asked you?
Yeah. Okay. And it's funny the way my brain works. So I come up with some of my best ideas in the shower. I mean, I don't know if that's
I mean, it is what it is.
I mean, because that's where you are thinking. It's just you and your thoughts.
What is Mike back there saying? What are you talking about? Really?
It's just me and my thoughts. And so it's funny, I've lost a lot of good material because I didn't get out and write it down right away. And you think you always have it. So now a lot of the times what I'll do is like if I'll think of a concept or even a hot line or a nice play on words and I'll just put it in my phone. So then like I had a few of those already. So I think when we did the test run on Monday and you asked me what I was going to do, I was still thinking I was going to do the original one I sent you. That was Monday. It wasn't until I had some extra time Tuesday night when I sat down and I just brainstormed and I spilled everything that I was thinking in my head. Not poetically, I just wrote it all down. And then once I wrote it all down and I saw, okay, this has the makings for a decent poem. And then I started arranging it. So I worked on it Tuesday and then I came back to it today.
So you literally skipped 2 days and finished it today?
Well, because my meeting was Wednesday, and then last night I did sit down and try to look at it, but I was too tired. So yeah, it was just Tuesday and today.
See, that's what I'm talking about, though. See, that's you've always had, like, I don't know if anybody from here was at the Chicago. I know a lot of people that were here were at the Chicago CitySeries.
Chicago, I will never live that down.
Listen, you blew us all away. You blew us all away. Look, Jillian, a Hamilton reference. But anyway, you really did blow us all away. You have this way of taking, this is a good question that I want to ask you, but you have a good way of taking like real raw feelings and turning them into, of course, poetry, but it always comes from a place of, this is how I feel about it. And it's like, it's hard not to be in this system of things and not notice those things that trouble you and those things that affect your soul that really hit. You got a lot to say. Like, as witnesses, we don't really talk about everything. We don't talk about politics. You mentioned democracy and hypocrisy and a systemic problem that's global. We've been dealing with all of these things that's been going on in our world right now, but we're not immune to any of it. So sometimes we got to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we got to talk about things that are troubling us. We are not compromising our neutrality, but we are still affected. So this seems like the poem kind of, like you said, it kind of had to be written. It kind of wrote itself, is what it sounds like. So when you write poems, and of course, I've not heard all of your poems. It's like no one's ever heard all of anyone's poems. But when you write, where does it generally start from? Like what compels you to say, let me get a pen?
So it's funny. When I was single, it flowed a lot more freely. And I think that's because Jehovah and poetry were my main two outlets. I've honestly found more of a challenge with it since I got married because Jehovah and my husband are my main two outlets now. And so, like, I haven't even written. That's one of the reasons why I didn't perform at your May event, because I hadn't written anything since I got married, and I just didn't want to do old stuff. And so when I sat down this week for the first time in 3 years to write a poem, the way it ended up being, like in my mind, it was going to be poetry and pandemic. Mm-hmm. The way it ended up being the poem I didn't want to write is because I literally sat down and I was like, I don't want to write this poem. And so that's what I started with. I'm just going to put it out there. I don't want to write this poem. But it was something, it's like I didn't want to write it mentally, but my heart was like, I need to get this out.
Yeah. So
it's a weird place to be. Every poem starts differently. Sometimes I have the guts of it that just spill out, and then I add an intro and a conclusion. Mm-hmm. This time it went straight from the beginning to the end because I was like, I don't want to write this poem. That's where I started, and it just continued from there.
I love that you said that you had to write a lot of things down and then turn it into a poem. I found that I had to do that recently about something that I'm writing right now. I've never done that before. Is that is that how most of your poems start, was just writing thoughts and random words and things like that down first, and then it turns into a poem?
I do. I think the majority of the time it does, because I'm a person who thinks a million miles a minute, and my brain can be in like 5 different places at one time. Yeah. So in order to just sit down and write a poem when I have all of these thoughts swirling in my head that I can't even make sense of myself, I usually do, like, I will have something that makes no sense to anybody else, just a bunch of phrases, words, lines, ideas, and then I can take them and sort them out from there.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, I just love the way it came together. Obviously, I got a little bit of a preview to it. I mean, like I said, it was powerful. It was very raw. And ever since I've known you, I feel like whenever you talk to us, whenever you express yourself, it's true. It's raw. It's not always like, just throwing things out there and rhyming for sake of rhyme. It's like it literally just comes together because it comes from a real place. So I love it. I missed you in May. I mean, I miss you anyway, but I missed you in May. I feel like, you were supposed to complete that, because you're always on the stage with us. And
let me tell you, when I was sitting there watching it, I was mad at myself. I was jealous. I was mad. I was like, why am I not doing this?
It's okay. It's okay. Like I said, I'm hoping that we're gonna get this next one up and going. So sounds good.
It's funny that you said that my poetry is typically raw, because I feel like it's watered down, and it's like compared to, I got to a place where after I started, so when I first started writing poetry, it was strictly my thing. I didn't share it with anybody. And then I started sharing it with people, and then I started performing, and then I started writing pieces with the idea of performing. And I found that it watered my pieces down. And so there's this one poem that I actually want to perform at some point that was just raw, how I felt, didn't care if it left the audience sad, mad, depressed, stressed, is how I felt. And it felt so good to get that out.
That's what Darren would call free. When you can really express that energy and not hold back. I mean, obviously when it comes to the truth, we do kind of watch ourselves. We're going to. We put people before ourselves. So that's just what we do, Elle in the comments says sometimes we need it real, and it's true. We do sometimes need it real, By the way, you guys can ask questions. I'm trying to, keep up with comments. I can't answer stuff, obviously, because otherwise I won't pay attention to what our poet is saying. But yeah, you can ask questions. If I see something, I will definitely share it and ask her. So stick around.
Got it.
We're gonna be here. How long we gonna be here? I don't know, but we're gonna be here. So just stick around, okay?
Thank you, Ashley.
Love you.
Bye.
Okay. Bye. All right, so that was my girl Vanessa from the DMV. So, yeah, you
I don't know how to do this. So I forgot about that.
You know what? I'll remove you. How about that?
Thank you.
My girl. Okay.